What are Trump accounts and how do they work? Well, Trump accounts are new. They're basically a new child savings account created under, for my fellow nerds information, Code Section 530. Legally, they are a special type of traditional IRA for children under 18, basically. That's sort of how they work. Eligible children can have an account open for them, provided you have a Social Security number. And also another cool thing about this, if a child is born between 2025 and 2028, the government gives you a free $1,000 as sort of a jump starter. During childhood, annual contributions are limited to $5,000. They are required to be invested in low-cost, broad U.S. index funds, and regular withdrawals are basically not allowed at all. Once the child reaches age 18, the account generally shifts into what's called traditional IRA treatment, so individual retirement account treatment. So it becomes more like a retirement account with the typical rules on tax distributions at that point. So in short, Trump accounts are a child-focused, tax-favored investment account, sort of a jumpstart to your child's retirement, which is pretty cool. How are Trump accounts funded and how do withdrawals work? Well, Trump accounts can be funded a few different ways. First of all, again, if you're born between 2025 and 2028, you basically get a $1,000 contribution from the government. Other than that, parents, relatives, other individuals can also contribute, and employers may contribute as well, which is a cool little wrinkle. In addition, certain government or charitable contributions are also allowed, and funds can be rolled over from one Trump account to another for the same child. So that's one other thing you could do with it, as long as it's still invested in low-cost U.S. index funds. During the child's growth period, and the growth period, remember, is defined as 0 to 18 years, most contributions are subject to the $5,000 annual limit, although the one-time $1K government payment for those born between 2025 and 2028 does not count towards the $5,000 annual contribution limit. Withdrawals are limited before 18, basically can't do it. Regular cash withdrawals are not allowed at all during that growth period. Again, 0 to 18, can't touch it. The main types of withdrawals that are allowed are the trustee to trustee transfer. You can roll over, which means roll over from one Trump account to another. You could also roll it into what's called an ABLE account until the year the child turns 18. And then after that, it turns into basically a traditional IRA. And that's how that works. How do I enroll my child into a new Trump account? Well, setting up a Trump account is basically a two-step process. First, you make the election with the IRS, and then you activate the account. To qualify, the child generally must be under age 18 by the end of the year the election is made. You must have a Social Security number and must not already have a Trump account election filed for them. So those are the general parameters to get these things set up. The account is opened by filing IRS Form 4547, called the Trump account election, or by using the IRS online election if available. The election usually is made by the parent, the legal guardian, or other family members who may wish to set this up. After the election is processed, the Treasury or its agent will create the initial account and will send activation instructions to the person who actually filed the election form, the 4547. That person then completes the authentication process and activates the account. If the child qualifies, the same process can be done to request the $1,000 government pilot contribution. After setup, the responsible adult manages the account. Again, it's got to be low-cost U.S. index funds. And for more information about this, just kind of a quick FYI, you go to the website trumpaccounts.gov, and you can get all the information there, which hopefully is helpful. What to know for corporations and philanthropists for Trump accounts? Well, Trump accounts can also matter to corps and philanthropists, not just families. For corporations, the main point is that employers can contribute up to $2,500 per employee each year to the Trump accounts for employees or their dependents for for this program, which is, that's a pretty great benefit. For philanthropists and charitable organizations, Trump accounts allow for qualified general contributions, which can be funded by the United States, the District of Columbia, Indian tribal governments, 501c3s, and then allocated by Treasury across a permitted class of child beneficiaries. So that's sort of how that works. A practical point here is that these contributions are made through Treasury's process, not by simply sending money to a child's account under a donor's own rules. For 2026 and 2027, Treasury guidance says a general funding contribution must meet a minimum amount equal to at least $25 per beneficiary in the selected class. It's a little confusing aspect of the law, frankly, at this point, but nonetheless, that's sort of what the regs are as of today. Finally, corporations and philanthropists should understand that Trump accounts are tightly regulated during the child's growth period. So again, investments are limited to low-cost, broad U.S. index mutual funds or ETFs, and regular withdrawals are generally barred before age 18, as I mentioned earlier. So the policy appeal is it's broad-based child asset building, but the operational framework is centralized, and it's also very rule-driven. So in short, corporations should focus on the employer contribution opportunity, which again, great employee benefit there, great program for employees, while philanthropists should focus on the Treasury administered qualified contributions there, which is again, a great benefit, but the Treasury rules are a little confusing at this point. More information to come.